All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading against sale on this month for the whole month. Go check out my pinned tweet there on Twitter. Anyways, here, multiple winners here this week also, looking to keep that going. But in any case, yeah, spiders here today. Another kind of pedestrian day. I warned about this morning. I talked about it even pre-market in the trading room. I said this is probably going to be a chop day. I didn't think we'd finish, as low as we're about to, but there's a little bit of SPY GEX at 567. I mentioned that in the short this morning, and there's obviously some there at 5,700 even. You can see right there, and there's a little bit at 5,680. So if they try to push us down, we'll probably get supported right there. But I said all day, like, look for mean reversion, look for rallies to get faded and dips to get bought. Overall, does this tell us a lot? Not really. I mean, we're going to close below yesterday's low here. If we look at the SPX, well, sorry, below, not yesterday's low, but below the, I'm doing the video a little early. We have a live stream with members at 4, but, we're kind of below this 5,700 area, psychological area. We're finally away from 570 as well. And one other thing that I noticed is, I think it's a little bit easier to see on the futures, but you can see that we've got obviously this nice tight range here, but we do have lower highs, and that's 3 days of lower highs. And we've got kind of like equal lows right here, so to say, like right at this low end here. So could be a descending triangle type look. Typically that's bearish. That's a kind of a bearish continuation pattern. The only problem is you're still, like, the trend is so much up here. I prefer a pattern like that. I prefer this type of a look to come after like a down move like that. Like we're close to the the middle of the middle or the low of a chart. Whereas we're still kind of, you could just zoom out and say, if we look to the daily, we're just we're still above the 20 moving average. So bears shouldn't need to take a breather yet, right? They shouldn't need a consolidation pattern yet. They haven't even done any damage. But again, as long as we're below 570, there's still seller control in the short term, and until proven otherwise. Now, tomorrow we have the magical jobs number, and we're going to find out just how magical it is. I did a poll if you guys want to check that out. Most people agree, or at least close with me. I'm in the 200 plus K camp. I wouldn't even be surprised to see a 3 handle, but it seems like the consensus is 125. I don't think we're gonna miss. I mean, there's just no way, right? I mean, you'd think that with the election being 5 weeks away. So we'll see how that goes. Jobless claims came right in line today, so that was right on the money. But tomorrow, that number is it's notoriously exaggerated many times, and I think this is the perfect time to exaggerate it if they're going to do that. What does that mean for the market? Well, I've said this all week long, and it's really tricky because on one hand, for bulls, you have event volatility, a lot of it, especially with all the geopolitical stuff going on, and somebody is specifically keeping this market pinned, right? Look at the big sell we had. We had more headlines coming out of bombings and this, that, and retaliation and this, that, and the other thing. Sorry, I'm not CNN. I'm just a trader. But we had headlines there. And look at this. I mean, we even go to a 5-minute. Look how sharp the sell was, and right back up. Sharp sell, right back up. Sharp sell, right back up. Sharp sell, right back up. So someone's keeping this market pinned here. Is that the event volatility itself? We'll see tomorrow. If we get a decent number and hedges come off and they fly off, we could rally. The other side of that, though, is, we can look at, this thing that I've been suggesting all week long, which is look at inflation swaps, the 2-year, starting to rise here with oil. And you can see the 2-year right now, that's upticking. I've talked about this with yields. They're continuing to grind up, right? Bond trade was crowded. I said, don't be long TLT this week. Look at the 30-year. That's on breakout. 10-year starting to break out. That's a higher high now. Why is this important? Well, because if we get a really strong jobs number, yeah, that's good because it means that we're closer to a soft landing, right? or, less, maybe a mild recession at best. But at the same time, it prices out rate cuts, right? It holds the Fed off. And that's what the drug addicted market wants. So there's a dynamic here. I can't tell you which way it's going to go, but I can tell you from a flows perspective, I think there could be some upward pressure here. And I think, from the sentiment readings I've looked at, bears definitely upticking a little bit versus bulls. That's definitely a positive. So we'll see. At the same time, I don't think that any rally lasts all that long. Could they jack us up to 5,800? It's possible. I mean, there's nothing really saying we can't do that. But I think that would be it if that happens. And I still, had that cycle date triggered on Tuesday. Didn't quite get the volume behind it. I would have liked 100 million shares, but I still think that's good enough. It's probably not a coincidence that they calculated that date out and we got a reaction there at least. You could also make a case here now, again, looking at the spiders, that we've back tested 570 twice. Right, like looking at the daily, we've hit it, we back tested it. Maybe we keep selling. Maybe it's just really shallow. Again, I've been kind of in that camp too. That I'm not necessarily expecting a huge swoon, but I wouldn't be surprised. Volatility is still upticking. Picks up 8.5. Is this elevated though into jobs, and is that going to be an opportunity for put sellers to come in? Maybe we sell off really hard tomorrow morning, and then we crank back up. I wouldn't rule that out either. So a lot going on here. I mentioned, late last week, early this week, it's probably a good area and idea to harvest gains, maybe a conservative short, and so far that's exactly kind of how this has played out. So we'll see if it, continues up or down tomorrow. Still above the 20 moving average, so trend is still up, but again, short term, just giving that seller control there, seller bias. QQQ I like a lot less though, right? We broke 486. That's, I call it a false breakout. The positives are, again, trend is up, moving averages are separating nicely. You're above the 20. There's some support down here, most likely, if we were to dip. We can also take a look at the SPX too. There's a trend, it's the same kind of trend line here. So maybe we dip into that and then we can get a bounce. So there are areas here that we're watching. And I talked about this. Kind of looks like the RSP did a few months ago, like a breakout, an attempted high, and then a sell, and then it kind of comes back. Maybe we're going to do this into the end of the year. All right, so we got up there. We broke out, kind of made like a slight new high. Maybe we need to come back in for a few weeks, and then, that's the thing with these breakout patterns. Everybody wants to catch that trend move, and that's why it's so hard for them to continue once they break. But once they do break, they eventually trend. But a lot of the time, they got to shake a lot of people off, shake the trees several times. But either way, let's see, the Russell here, down about 1%. Again, I like the Russell the least. It is holding the 50 MA. Again, this is way more sensitive to the economy, so the jobs number will be very sensitive on the Russell. You do have lower highs, though, and lower low on the daily. Positive is you're holding the 50 MA. The negative is you got a ton of air here and you build no support on the way up. Like, look at the futures, for instance. This is just a straight up move here. So let me just fix that. There we go. But either way, you can see that straight up move on the IWM. Anyway, Dow here, down a little over 0.5%. Again, still tight pattern here. Doesn't look wrong, but a little outside move today. Again, jobs will tell us the story. Another positive here for the market is the semis are strong, right? So SMH, that's 2 days in a row of outperformance versus the market. Nvidia, Jensen Wang get him there and he pumped his stock, yesterday in the after hours, and everybody loved it. By the way, nice short today in the trading room on Nvidia. Very nice play. It is holding up. I'd say this can go to 125 tomorrow, though. That's probably it, unless we get an absolute moonshot. But this is probably max move for tomorrow. I'm just pointing that out because I know everybody likes Nvidia and likes to trade it. But SMH here, up 0.5% in a down tape. So that's a positive. I always like to see the semis outperform. IGV, again, flat day. It came off the highs. Little, inside bar action, just like the market here. So we're ready for a trend move now, like across the board. I mean, like, again, just to go back to the ES, look at the 4-hour here. This is ready for a trend. That is a tight range. It's ready. So we're going to get one tomorrow. Just depends on direction. Dow transport's on the weaker side. Excuse me, rolling over here below the 50 MA. Going to close below the 50 MA, looks like. And we may get a lower low here. So weakness there, down 1.5. We'll see what that does tomorrow. Macro picture is still fine on that. Bigger picture. We talked about yields a little bit. But yeah, 30 is continuing to break out. That's been a nice trade for us. In carnivore trades, 2 is starting to uptick as well. Dollar, 4 days in a row. Been talking about this for weeks. Beautiful RSI divergence there. Look at all that selling. Very little reward. All it needed was a little catalyst, little risk off, little, you know, little war talks, I guess. But that's what got it going. XHB, again, still in a tight range here. So no problems with the home builders as per usual. The NQ continuing down. I have a minor buy signal on the XLRE. It's not really the greatest though. It didn't even really do much. This is just more of a day trading signal. It didn't really even follow through. So I'm just gonna skip that. But you know, it's hit 95.50. I think it's got good support with the 50 MA at 94 for now. XLF. Banks were weak all day. So, well, at least on the XLF anyway. So we dipped down early and we didn't really come off the lows. I mean, you know, quickly we did, but we just kind of pinned sideways. So XLF was still a little weak. JPM was weak again. This is a chart for bears here. So if you're a bear at all, you like this. So you had a nice dip buy. Always good to see something go from red to green, especially in that manner. It's almost like it tried to break down like a bear flag and then it came back, but you haven't followed through yet. And this is looking a little weak here. So this is a chart for bears. You know, if you can get this to break below 200, you're going to have that lower low there. And that'll be a weekly lower low too. Very important stock. That's why I talk about it as much as I do. KRE, look where it went. We talked about that yesterday. Nice little bounce. EVE. And broker dealers at new highs, of course. So, the only problem with this is the monthly. It's just parabolic. So, broker dealers still acting well. Crude finally made a higher high. And it got through our trend line here. Let me redraw that because I think it got messed up with the roll. There we go. So it's above. Yeah, we're going to go right there. So it's above. Nice breakout for crude. Too many shorts. Too much geopolitical stuff going on. Too much inflation risk. Too much, you know, everybody was just betting on TLT. And I think the jobs number tomorrow, too, could even send this higher. So higher low here. A lot of people got bearish down there. Higher low. And it's above the 50 MA finally. I still need to see a lot more before I really take the geopolitical stuff that seriously. I mean, I'm taking it seriously, but it shouldn't even have needed. If this was a big impulsive move where there was smart money that was scared, it would not have wasted time. It would have just gone up. But nonetheless, good breakout. Nice move there for oil. Let's just say 76 in the near term. XLE, continuing the inverse head and shoulders. We talked about this, said there's room for higher lows on these, and that turned out to be the case. XOP, that's triggered now. OYH, we'll say that's triggered too. So energy stocks looking a lot better. CCJ, doesn't care, just keep going up. That's a W bottom to end all W bottoms here. Talked about that for a while. NM down 1%, and J down 2%. So those are a little bit lagging here, but that's fine. Look, there's resistance right here, right? It can go sideways for a little bit. What we got on nat gas here, up 3%. Still in an uptrend. I prefer to see a little more consolidation on this, but it's still going up, and there's no problems with it. Psychological at 305. And then I think there's a 618. I think there's a 618 at 305 as well on the X. Okay, no, sorry, 313. So we got to the 50% fib yesterday. Now we're stalling. So after 305, then we'll say 313, 315. But nice move there. Dollar we talked about. Good move. I told you 102. High of the day 102, 10. So not bad. Went to this pivot here, basically, right? So right in that area, and then 102.50. I don't think we're going to go much through that, though, here. I think if we pump on jobs, it probably stalls out here. Same thing for yields, just to quickly go like the 30-year. It could pump up again, but it'll probably stall somewhere in that range. You know, like the 10s will probably stall around like 3.9, 3.93. The 30s will stall around, you know, 4.25, 4.3 or so. That's if it pumps tomorrow. So just putting that out there. Gold, again, another basically red to green day. Gap down, dipped hard, rallied on that retaliation news. This can go higher tomorrow if it wants. Silver can go higher tomorrow if it wants to. Nice pattern. Platinum, very nice. It was down a lot earlier, then came right back. So good price action there. And then palladium, same kind of look. So these are trying to firm up as well. Copper backing off, good pattern again, tight inside bar. 20 MA catches up, this can go higher. So very simple there. And then lastly, Bitcoin, fractionally higher. So not a lot going on there. Not weak, not strong. It's holding the 50 MA. We'll see what it does tomorrow. Again, I still think there's a bigger picture. We're looking for a higher low here and then a breakout. But it was quiet today. Again, too many people jumping on that October stuff. So about 340. Yeah, we're going to be at 567 by the close. So that's where I'd expect us to close the day. And yeah, it's just a pin. Again, it was pretty easy to tell. Even before the market opened, I thought this was going to be a chop day, and it was. So here we are. We'll see what jobs does tomorrow. The dynamic will be interesting. There will be hedges coming off, so it's going to take a big move. It's going to take a lot to get the market to go down tomorrow, I think. Or, you know, we pump up and then sellers come into that. That would be the ultimate, like, you know, screw you move. As the hedges come off, then sellers come in after, you know, on a lower high. Again, we do have lower highs on ES. So 1, 2, and SPY, and the kind of equal lows, right? They've been defending this area. They're defending the hell out of this area here for 2 days now, 3 days now. So, you know, if we pump up and we make one more lower high, I think we can go down. So it'd be tricky, but it should be interesting. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here again. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.